All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast. Now, the New York Football Giants appear to be open for business. And when I say that they're open for business, it comes down to them finding themselves a new franchise quarterback in next month's NFL draft. Now, Giants co-owner John Mara has been an adamant supporter of current Giants starting quarterback Daniel Jones since he was drafted sixth overall by New York back in 2019. But today, Mara gave his blessing to Giants general manager Joe Shane and head coach Brian Daboll to draft a quarterback in next month's NFL draft if they choose to. Some of the quotes today from John Mara. If they fall in love, meaning Shane and Dayball, with a quarterback and believe it's worth pick number six or moving up, I certainly would support that. Also, Mara was also quoted in talking in regards to both Shane and Dayball. I know they're looking at quarterbacks. You've seen that. They've gone to some of the pro days. We've had some of these guys in. I don't think they're even close to making a final determination yet as to which way we're going to go on that. Those discussions will happen over the next few weeks. So, with that said, and there's more to it, and I'm going to get to it. I know that some people, you want to be skeptical about it and say, hey, as a front office, as a general manager, anybody in front office, you got to do your homework on everybody at every position. I totally get that. But we've seen Joe Shane, traveling around the country last college football season at some of the prominent quarterbacks games. And the thing is this, I've talked about this before on here, and I will continue to say this. Joe Shane and Brian Dayball inherited Daniel Jones. Okay, it's one of those, they said, you know what, let's see what we can do with him and let's see if we can develop him. And honestly, no disrespect to Daniel Jones, but the Giants got the best out of him that they're going to get back in 2022 when he completed more than 67% of his passes, threw for 15 touchdowns, and only had five interceptions, and helping the Giants earn a playoff spot and also getting a playoff win. Like I've said before, that was a contract year for Daniel Jones. Also, he benefited from it being a contract year for running back Saquon Barkley as well. But nonetheless, we know that Mara is still publicly supporting Jones and he's going to publicly support Jones. But you can read the writing on the wall. Mara was also quoted today as far as, talking about it if the Giants do draft a quarterback. And, does that mean that he's giving up on Daniel Jones? He says he doesn't think so, but why not let both compete? That's all fine, well, and good. But at the end of the day, you're not going to go out there and draft a guy in the first round at quarterback just to have him compete. You're going out there looking for your future. And let's be real about this. If Daniel Jones had played better, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. So, like I said before, keeping Daniel Jones or drafting another quarterback and potentially developing him is going to be a make or break decision. And I think this draft is going to be a make or break draft for Joe Shane and Brian Dayball because this is going to be the pick. I know that this is their third draft, but they still have not found their quarterback. They still have not found their guy, and they're still seeking their guy. Okay. And they're probably going to get their guy in this upcoming draft. And in my opinion, John Mara's words today are code for I want to win, and I'm tired of seeing this guy as my starting quarterback. Take it for whatever you want. Now, like I said before, Shane and Dayball, they inherited Daniel Jones. They tried to make it work. 2022 was as good as it's going to get. And remember, even going back to last offseason when the Giants gave Jones that 4-year contract extension for $160 million, look how long it took before the Giants got that deal done. Joe Shane had to be convinced of that. And the thing is, if you have to be convinced to give somebody money as a franchise quarterback, then that means that person is not your guy. Of course, the Giants have an out on Daniel Jones's contract after this season, and I would not be surprised to see them possibly exercise it. So, of course, the question is going to be, will the Giants draft a quarterback sixth overall, or will they have to trade up? I've talked about this recently as well. We're probably going to get quarterbacks going one, two, and three. I know that Washington has said they're willing to trade back. I know that New England has said that they're willing to trade back for number three. Of course, things got very intriguing when we saw the Minnesota Vikings make that trade with the Houston Texans in order to obtain now two first round picks. And conventional wisdom would lead you to believe that the Vikings are looking to move up and get a quarterback, possibly a JJ McCarthy. I'll tell you like this, maybe New York might have to do that because I could see a team making a trade up with the Cardinals at number four or the Chargers at number five, trying to get ahead of the Giants because all signs point to them taking a quarterback and even possibly that being Michigan quarterback JJ McCarthy. The bottom line is John Mara has seen enough. Okay. The Giants have only had three winning seasons since their last Super Bowl appearance and Super Bowl win, of course, in the 2011 season. Okay, they've only had two playoff appearances since then, and they've only won one playoff game. Since then, this NFC East has been dominated by both the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. And of course, the Philadelphia Eagles are still the head of the class, if you will, in this division for what they've done for the last decade or so, because in that time, that includes a Super Bowl championship and two Super Bowl appearances. So the question is going to be, will the Giants draft a quarterback early? And I completely think that they will. Okay, you could read the writing on the walls on this one going back to last year because again, the fact that the Giants got that out on Daniel Jones's contract after year two told me, okay, you know what? They're not convinced that he's their guy. They're going to let this thing play out. He's going to be a stopgap guy, and let's see how this thing goes forward. Daniel Jones, he basically auditioned, excuse me, for the job in 2022 for Shane and Daboll. I know that he had already been with the Giants, but they weren't there. So he auditioned. Okay, he did just enough, okay, to maintain his status, but reverting back to the same issues, the same inconsistency, the same inability to stay healthy at the end of the day, Shane and Dayball have seen enough. Why? Because guess what? They've got to go out there and keep their jobs. So it's one of those where hypothetically you would say, okay, if the Giants do use a first round pick on the quarterback, maybe Daniel Jones seeks a trade. Nobody's going to trade for him as of yet. I will say this though. I do believe the Giants could sit up there and say, hey, you know what, Daniel Jones, you're our quarterback for week number one. Take the 2024 season, try to audition for another team and go out there and play to the best of your ability. But at the end of the day, your future is not with the Giants. I know that the Giants used the first round pick on Daniel Jones several years ago. Even if Daniel Jones, hypothetically speaking, has a lights out season in 2024, the Giants are not getting a first round pick back for him. Okay, maybe you can trade him. Somebody could restructure his deal, and you take it from there. You probably get a mid-round pick at best. But I think at the end of the day, when the owner like John Mara speaks in the fashion that he spoke today, you could see the writing on the wall. And the writing on the wall is that this chapter of Giants football that is Daniel Jones is going to be ending sooner rather than later. I do believe that Joe Shane and Brian Dayball do get their quarterback of the future next month's draft. It's just a matter of who that guy is. Do they trade up? How much draft capital or compensation would they have to give to trade up? Or do they believe they can get their guy at number six? Or do they even wait to round number two? We have to wait and see. But nonetheless, Daniel Jones is definitely not in the long term future as quarterback for the New York football Giants. So, folks, that's going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank all of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.